For years, Ramana lived as a hermit on the slopes of Arunachala. He had left his home in secret as a boy of 16, and his family did not know whether he was alive or dead. To them, he was a son who had simply vanished. But word travels even in those days, and slowly the news reached his mother, Alagammal, that the silent young man living on the sacred mountain was indeed her own Venkataraman. You can imagine her feelings. A mother who had lost her husband young, who had watched one of her sons disappear without a word, now learned that he was living half-naked among the rocks, eating only what strangers gave him, speaking almost not at all. So she came to find him. She came to Tiruvannamalai with one clear purpose in her heart, to bring her boy home. But the son she found was no longer the boy she remembered. When she begged him to return with her, Ramana would not even answer with his voice. He had taken to a long silence in those years. Instead, after she pressed him again and again, he wrote a few simple lines on a piece of paper. The meaning of those lines was this, that the one who governs all things acts according to a hidden order. What is meant to happen will happen, no matter how hard we try to prevent it. What is not meant to happen will not happen, no matter how hard we try to bring it about. Therefore, he told her gently, the wisest thing is to remain still. It was not coldness. It was the deepest kind of honesty. He could not pretend to be what he no longer was. Alagammal returned home without him, heartbroken, but something had been planted. Over the following years, she came back to visit again and again, and each time the pull of the place and of her son grew stronger. The mountain was working on her too. At last, after much of her own life had passed, she made the decision that would change everything. She would not try to take her son away from Arunachala. She would come and live beside him and follow the very life he lived. This was a remarkable turn. A mother who had once come to reclaim her child now became, in a sense, his disciple. Ramana welcomed her completely. He gave her instruction, he watched over her, and over time he even drew her into the discipline of the kitchen and the practice of inner attention. The woman who had wanted to pull him back into ordinary life now devoted her last years to the search for the self. When her final illness came, Ramana did something he rarely did for anyone. He stayed at her side through the long hours of her dying. He placed one hand upon her heart and the other upon her head, and he remained there in deep stillness as the end approached. He was not performing a ritual for show. Those who were present understood that he was doing inner work, guiding the forces of her mind, helping the deep tendencies that bind a person to be quieted and dissolved at the very moment of death. He later spoke of it plainly. He said that his mother had not merely died. She had been absorbed, set free, released into the self. For him, this was not a sad farewell but a true liberation, the rarest gift one being can help another to reach. Her body was not cremated in the ordinary way reserved for ordinary people. Because Ramana regarded her as one who had attained release, she was buried, as holy ones are, and a small shrine was raised over her resting place at the foot of the mountain. And here is where the story quietly turns again. Until that day, Ramana had wandered between caves higher up the slopes, moving as the spirit moved him. But after his mother's burial, he came down and settled near her shrine, and he did not leave again. The place where she rested became the place where he would stay for the rest of his life. Around that shrine, almost by itself, a community began to gather. At first it was only a hut or two, a roof against the sun, a few devotees who would not be sent away. Then a hall, then a kitchen, then more buildings as more and more people arrived to be near him. No grand plan was ever drawn up. Ramana never declared, "Here I will build my ashram." It simply grew like a tree around a man who asked for nothing and a mother who had found peace. In time it took the name Sri Ramanasramam, and over her shrine a temple was eventually raised. There is a beautiful thread running through all of this. The relationship that began as a mother's natural love, a love that wanted to hold and to keep, was slowly transformed into something far larger. It became the love that sets free. Alagammal came to save her son, and in the end it was her son who saved her, in the truest sense the teaching allows. And from that single act of letting go, a home grew up that would shelter seekers for generations. The most ordinary human bond had opened into the deepest one. In the next chapter, we will step inside that home and watch a single day unfold. The simple rhythm of the ashram, the humble tasks, the animals, and the quiet equality with which Ramana treated every living being who came to his door.